Hello, all you crazy ass drywallers out there in drywall world, and welcome to a repetitive episode of the Drywall Podcast. I'm your host, once again, Nick Harmon, with us today for his second visit to the show, Ken Landin from Albany, New York. We reflect on his path since being on the show a mere 3 years ago and how losing his brewery forced him to recreate himself in the drywall space. Kenny was working on a client's house when it was suggested to him that he make educational videos. He was practiced with educating with his involvement in several mentorship programs like the BOCES trade school and tradementor.org, but it wasn't until this recommendation that he started making videos. And he reached out to a pretty awesome video person too.
Yeah. But my customer says to me, he says, you should be putting this on film, teaching people how to do this. And I said, I've been thinking about it for a long time. And I just, the shit could be expensive. I'm not a social media guy. I don't do social media whatsoever. He says, he's like a good friend of mine, his son, that's what he does.
Okay.
And he hooked me up with Anthony.
Okay.
And Anthony's, he's in his 20s. He went to school for it.
Perfect.
We met, we spoke. Again, we had to interview each other. Can I work with, we're 30 years apart. Like, can I work with this entitled little brat from
more so that's the guy you want. I mean,
that's the guy I want.
Yeah, if he's in his 20s, yeah, he's right in it.
So I looked at his website, Lincoln Street Media.
Okay.
I saw the stuff that he does. I ran it by my son. My son's in his early 30s. I said, what do you think about the quality of this? My son's a little bit more in tune with it. He says, this guy's really good.
We discuss his brewing business and how that ended, and we also discuss his amazing video engineer, Anthony, from Lincoln Street Media. We talk about costs associated with media and how this ex-drywall business so-and-so is reinventing himself on a more youthful platform. Also, I'd like to give a huge shout out to our sponsor for the month of February, Can-Am Tools. This is Can-Am's third time sponsoring the Drywall Podcast, and we're excited to have them back. So excited, there might be something special in store. All right, dealers, you know how it goes. You want products that actually move, not tools that sit on the shelf so long they start to acquire rent, pay rent. I'm not sure how I should word that. That's why Can-Am Tools builds their semi-automatic tools the way they do. Simple to understand, tough as nails, and easy for finishers like you to pick up and run with. We just hope they pay for them first. When tools make sense, they're easy to sell. And Can-Am's been delivering reliable, no-drama gear for decades. And it wouldn't be a true sponsorship without a little ice bath giveaway. Can-Am's doing it a little differently, though. They've decided to unveil some new secret innovations on the Drywall Podcast that have never been seen before. Unless you've been watching the Drywall Podcast for the last month, then you've seen them. First place will receive a new 32-inch applicator tube with extendable handle. This is their newest compound applicator tube setup, and it's pretty amazing. Second place, brand new inside corner roller with spring skirts, little wings that hold the mud in place. This is a new innovation as well, and there's even a third place, and they will get the Roller Glide kit, and it features a 2.5, 3-inch, and 3.5-inch Roller Glide finishers with a 6-inch Nicor handle for hard-to-reach areas. This is an amazing giveaway. Also, be sure to check out my interview with the great Wolfgang Dombrowski of Can-Am Tools, episode 44, a long time ago. It's kind of a good show, and it holds a special place in my heart. Seriously, all you have to do is email me your name, number, and physical address to info@frescoharmony.com and you're in. Also, be sure to follow the Drywall Podcast and Can-Am Tools on all your favorite social media outlets. But for now, we have Ken Landin out of Albany, New York, back on the show for his second appearance, Drywall with Kenny, all that good stuff. Oh, episode 163? Are you kidding me? Let's get into it.
I just saw your text message, man. I'm sorry. I was in the garage loading up, getting the compound out of the cold. Let me fix my hair. Hold on. I look better now.
You look gorgeous.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Drywall Podcast once again. Sounds good?
Everything sounds great.
Yeah, you got a nice little headset there. I like it.
I guess, man. I had to find something big enough for my head, so it works.
Yeah.
It works. It's all good.
I meant to listen to our last podcast prior to this podcast, but I did not. Constantly falling short.
That's all right.
Have you listened to it recently? It's good.
I have not.
I like that one.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah. It was episode 49, May 2023.
2023. I'm trying to remember May.
Yep, yeah, I had just been a year into the podcast.
So what are you up to now? What episode are you up to now?
This would be theoretically 163.
Nice. So you're going strong. Who would have thunk that there were that many crazy drywall guys out there in the country, in the world, right?
Oh, I know. There's more too. They keep coming out of the woodwork like cockroaches.
There's more. I know, it's great. I know. I'm seeing them all come out on all the YouTube videos and the Instagram videos. Some guy said I look like John Daly. I'm like, hey man, that's a compliment.
Kind of. You're better looking than John Daly.
I just would have hoped that he would have spelled John Daly's name right. Like he spelled it wrong. So I was like, come on, dude. You're gonna make fun of me. At least spell a guy's name right.
I like your videos. They're well produced. We can jump into it. You reached out to me a while ago now.
23, yeah.
No. Recently.
Oh, okay.
2 months ago, you reached out and you were like, hey man, I'm doing this new thing. I want to come on the podcast and promote my wares, which if you're listening, I am always open for people in the trade, especially drywall, doing cool things, that want to promote their stuff. I want to help. And then all of a sudden I'm getting like burpy just as we start to do this. Well, also afternoon shows are different.
Right.
Morning show, it's like I got the coffee, I got the energy. There's just something like I'm in my zone. I knock it out. I still have stuff to do, but it's totally fine. I'm also willing to work around people's schedules. So
I totally get that, man. I totally get that. Yeah, I reached out to you. It wasn't even a thing. Like I'm making a transition. I let you know that, when I spoke to you last in 23, I was still had the breweries open. I was still running Crossroads Brewery, and they had since closed. So I was transitioning.
If you would like to, maybe you just started listening to this episode. If you would like to go back and check out Ken's episode, it's episode 49 in the archives. You can listen on Podbean or Spotify or YouTube. You can listen on YouTube. But to give you like a little history, we might be talking more about different things now. But back then, you were running KL Drywall. Are you still doing that?
Yes, I'm running KL Drywall, but I was simultaneously in the brewing business too. So when Crossroads eventually closed due to COVID, I just hit the ground running and went right back into KL Drywall, like full force,
All right.
And that's
You're
My
primarily a patch guy, though, right?
pretty much now. I mean, I'll do 30 boards, 40 boards. That's about as big
Okay.
as I go now. I'm
Okay.
done doing those 35,000 square foot homes on Long Island that I used to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had a
And
crew of 40 back then, and we did it all. Like we set ourselves above the rest. We back when when I had the big crews. I mean, we laser leveled everything. We power planed all the studs. We used resilient channel. We were hanging 16 foot 5/8, 54-inch board. Like these guys out there, they're just like, oh my God, you wouldn't last 2 minutes in a house. I'm like, listen, dude, I did houses for 40 years. I don't need to last 2 minutes in a house
yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, you can't
You
get caught up with those bozos.
So yeah, so I do a lot of plaster repair here in Albany. A lot of
Do
plaster
you?
homes.
I was listening and I remember you tried Fresco Harmony a little bit. Have you ever tried Fresco Harmony to do plaster repair?
I have not.
I do it all the time here. It works like a champ.
I should probably start selling that a little bit more now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now that I'm 100% back in,
Hmm.
I should
And do you
definitely.
match the plaster or do you just repair the plaster and then they paint it?
I just repair the plaster and they paint it. I haven't come
Okay.
across anything with any texturing, any skip trowel, any knockdown or anything like that over here. It's just basically, lime mortar, structolite base, lath, plaster.
Yeah. So
Um,
here they'll have the existing plaster that
right.
looks like plaster and they want to preserve their investment or whatever. The
Sure.
plaster's like 10 years old. I had a carpet guy, his dude hit the corner, like just a little thing. I was like, $500.
Yeah.
But I
I,
went in with all my colors of Fresco Harmony and my sealers, and I'm able, and even paint, and I'm able to like faux it out and
I,
pa-
I,
kind of
I love
patch
the
it.
fresco harmony. I remember sending you the video when you sent me the
Yeah.
package and I was trying it.
Hmm.
And for me, being a taper, a hawk and knife taper, hand taper,
Yeah.
you know, I was struggling with the fact, like my mentality is you got to make it, you got to make it flat. You got to make it perfect,
Yep.
right? So with the Fresco Harmony, I was struggling with myself mentally to try and like, hey, this doesn't have to be perfect. This
Yeah.
needs to be. So it was
Yeah.
kind of cool. And I actually did the bathroom in my house with it. Didn't come out the way I wanted it to come out, the way it looked to come out. I think I used the compound a little looser than I should have, but it's a trial and error thing, right? It's like anything else, repetition, right? That's what I keep
Yeah.
promoting.
I'm doing an art piece right now for my mother-in-law, and it's called Museum Acrylic. So I would frame artwork, and then back in the day, I used to frame all my artwork. But she started painting. She started painting these like paintings. They're pretty good. And she was like, "Oh, will you frame art? Can you frame this for me?" And she gave me one of them, and I actually use sheetrock. So I would use like they have artist putty that you can use to stick to like quarter-inch sheetrock, and then I'd use like quarter-inch or eighth-inch acrylic, and then that would make up the difference on a half-inch like L bead, and that's how I frame it, like kind of like the piece behind me. And I did that, but I used half-inch instead of quarter-inch, so I was like, ah, crap, man, because the last couple I had done were I wasn't going to use the acrylic. I was just going to let it go free form. But I had this idea that I wanted to do an acrylic standoff
Right.
piece. Well, they sell, unbeknownst to me, they sell museum grade like acrylic that is non-reflective and things like this. And so like $80 for this piece of acrylic, 31 by 41 or whatever, however big I needed
It
it.
doesn't have the heavy shine, right?
Doesn't have the real heavy shine. It
Right,
doesn't
right,
reflect a whole lot. It's very nice stuff. It
right.
looked great, except for I was like on the last drill. Well, when you're doing standoffs, man, it's a really bitch to line up your holes with the pieces that stand it off of the surface. So it's going to stand off like a half inch, and it cracked on me
Oh, really?
on the last. Yeah, because acrylic's fragile when you're trying to drill it out.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, and it's expensive.
It's expensive. So going back to your, trial and error, like this is how Fresco Harmony was invented. Like
Yeah.
I was pissed off for a second. Well, and then the guy, I put it all together, and the mother-in-law was like, "Oh, it's okay. Like, I love it. Just bring it. It looks great. It's a little cracked. Doesn't matter." I was like, "All right, all right, all right." So I go back to the acrylic shop, and I'm like, "I got this little crack." He's like, "Well, try this stuff. It's like weld, like plastic weld. It's clear."
Right.
So I get home and I do a couple lines. I practice, do a couple lines. I don't want to go right to the piece. Got the damn thing done. Practice
A couple. Let's clarify a couple of lines of
of the weld,
the
the
plaster
plastic
weld.
weld. Yeah.
We don't want to
And
give anybody out there the wrong impression now, Nick.
oh,
Come
they
on.
know. They all know. They all know I'm in recovery. But so I go to put this weld onto the piece and it drips as I go to put it on. It's like so fluid coming out of the thing. It just
Right.
drips on the piece. Done. Piece is fucking done.
Stop.
So right
Oh my
before,
God.
right before. So I've been practicing with drilling holes because they have special bits to drill plastic too. So it
Sure.
does
Yeah.
specifically so it doesn't crack. But
Yeah.
if there's a gap when you got to lay it on something flat. If there's a littlest gap, it'll crack.
It'll crack. Yeah.
You learn all these things, and it's a couple $100 learning. She's gonna pay me a little bit for the piece, so that'll cover my education. But all these things, if you're not learning, my
You ain't
dad
growing.
used to say when I was skiing, well, we'd be skiing, like I've been skiing since I was a little shit. He always used to say, "If you ain't burning, you ain't learning."
It's
I
true.
love that one.
That's true, man. If you ain't learning, you ain't growing. You got it.
And
Got it.
so Ken from Albany, I assume, still.
Yep. Yep. Still up in upstate New York. Yep. I'm originally
Uh,
from Queens, Manhattan area.
Yeah, we had a fantastic show the first time. You were very good on the show, and you reached out and you wanted to because you're doing something new. I think we should just dive right into it. You and I follow you on you're new to Instagram, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it seems like you've just got this whole campaign that you're sort of unfolding. Should we go back? Should we go back to find the epiphany of why you started doing this? How do you want to approach it?
I don't know. Like I said, I got out of the, although KL Drywall never shut down, I was always
Yeah.
doing it. But for 15 years, I kind of stepped away from it and got into the beer industry. So in the beer industry, when I got out of that, I still had the trade, which is something that I think a lot of people, we need to emphasize, whatever trade that may be. Doesn't matter if it's drywall, taping, whatever, electrical, plumbing, that gives us security, right? Job security. We know that, like, we have a trade. You don't forget it. So it made the most sense for me to just hit the ground running and get right back into the trade. But now, as I'm getting older, I got the stilts in the garage.
Yeah.
I got the big ones. I'm not getting back up on the stilts anymore. I did it for 35 years. So how do I how do I help? How can I give back? So, my thought process is, well, I am now out there working in people's homes and people asking me a lot of questions. How do I do this? How do I do that? One guy said
Sure.
to me, "Hey, you should put it up on YouTube. You can really explain it very well." I said, "Well, I've been doing it forever." So one thing led to another. And I said, really, the main thing is I had no intentions of promoting myself as a brand by any means. If it happens, it happens, right? But my goal is how do I help someone? And maybe they're a young couple. They just bought their first house. They don't have the money or the means, but they have a little bit of skills. How do I help those people, do it for the first time? So the videos and the shorts and all of that are really geared and designed for people who have never done it before, and how can I help them? And it starts just from, how do you open up a bucket,
Yeah, but you're not making any money. This is just something you wanted to do just because you're like, hey, I want to give back a little bit.
Yeah.
Nothing more than that, huh?
Nothing more than that. I mean, if it monetizes into something,
You're not trying to sell a muscle pill or something.
nope. No, not at all. No, I'm just trying to give back. Honestly, over the years, it's the wisdom, opening, closing businesses. When I had my crew, it was 40 guys going, sheetrocking, blah, blah, blah. Sure, things have changed, but some things change, some things stay the same. And I'm out there every day in
Yeah,
the field. And I really just did a consensus and just said, what are my customers asking? And that's what they were asking me. They're like, hey, there's not really anything out there that we can view that comes from a beginner's perspective. It's all jumping into
sure.
experience. You jump on a YouTube, they're showing you the boxes, the second coating boxes, the bazookas, the things like that. This is not a homeowner who just bought a house that's going to go invest money into that. They need to go out and buy a 6, a 10, an 8,
I just
and
had a conversation with a girl in Paonia. She's been on the podcast, Monica. She does fresco harmony, but she had a ceiling she's a painter.
mm-hmm.
Paonia Property Services. She's a painter, and she sends me this picture. She's like, "Do I need to like do anything to the ceiling before I run the fresco? It's just raw drywall." And I'm like, "Yeah, you got to tape those, And so she called because I'm like trying to explain because then it opens a can of worms. So much
Sure.
so that I'm like, we need to have a show just about this,
Mm-hmm.
like because it goes into plaster. Now she's learning about plasters and different wall surfaces and stuff. I'm like, well, before the plaster, it's like, why do you tape those butts and bands? Like she's digging in. Like why? Well, why? What's the purpose? I'm like, well, it'll crack out if you don't. If you just
Yeah.
run fresco harmony, it's gonna. I've even done fresco right over tape coat, and I got some hairline cracks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so it begged the question even to me. I'm like, well, I wonder why that is that you need to put a base coat over the tape, because I think even if you just painted over tape seams, it would crack, right?
Eventually,
Do,
eventually it will crack. I
you
mean,
need the mud. That's sheer strength. That's
yeah,
the
I mean, there's
strength
glue.
that holds. It's the glue that holds those
Yeah.
sheets together.
It's glue. It's glue in there that holds it all together. Listen, it's a process that's been around forever, right? As long as I've been alive, it's been, and I'm not, I'm a dinosaur at this point, but it's a process. And
We've gone older though. We've got some older dudes than you that we've had on. I've had Bernie,
nice.
the founder of Columbia Tools, Bernie Nathan, the artist, but like we've had some old school guys on here talking about the industry from way back.
Way back. It's,
Yeah.
honestly, back, again, when I started, there was asbestos in the material. The asbestos was added the strength, and when they took the asbestos out, that was really a little bit more challenging because it weakened actually the core of the compound when it was drying and whatnot. But the process has been here forever. And you say 3 coats and people start freaking out. Well, the tape coat's not considered a coat. The second coat and the third coat, and I skim it, and the manufacturer of this, and everybody's just fighting back and forth
Yeah,
instead of
no,
just
no,
doing it.
no, no, no. That's not up for debate. Tape coat is number one.
Well, listen, go on the YouTube
That's
channel. You see
right.
people on there are telling me, they're like yelling at me, through the ether, like this clown doesn't know what he's talking about. Listen, I was brought up where it was the rough coat was the first coat, the second coat, and then the third coat was the polished coat.
I just thought of a really great idea. What when you do, because I've watched your videos, the last one, repetition, repetition, repetition. There were there were like maybe a minute too many repetitions, but that's okay. That's
It's okay.
okay.
It's okay. I was trying
It's
to
just
drive.
that you really
I got to
drove it
talk to
home.
my videographer,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
guy Anthony. I got to get on him about that. He's the one plugging
30
all of that
seconds.
stuff.
30 seconds would have been ideal.
I know. I know.
But no, it's great.
Yeah.
But it just occurred to me, maybe you should actually dress like a clown. And like you should
I
just
should.
call it the drywall clown and just go on do your thing.
Somebody did comment on one of my shoes too. They commented on my shoe. They're just like, "Wow, your right sneaker look like it's struggling." I'm just like, Jesus Christ! I didn't even know I was wearing shoes. Like, thanks for pointing that out to me. But if I had big clown shoes, you know, maybe people would make fun of the outfit a little bit more and not even look at the process of taping, right?
Well,
So
and also you get these like keyboard warriors that's like they've never made a video. It's
yeah,
hard to just go on and like it's vulnerable
yeah, it
to
is.
stand in front of the camera and then you post it where gabillions of people are going to see it. Like,
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
no clue how many people have seen that video. I mean, not everybody comments. I think I liked it, but like, we'll share some stuff, but yeah, and you don't have to like anything. You can
right,
just watch shit, scroll through, you can watch a video here and there. And if you're
right.
listening, Ken is doing like a series of beginner videos now. You said there wasn't a lot out there, but there's a lot out there. I mean, we've had the drywall doctor on the show. He does YouTube. We've had the kilted drywaller dude. He's got like 1 million followers on
Yep, yep, yep.
YouTube. Great guy. They're
Follow
both
him
great
too. Yep,
guys. Yeah,
yep.
great guy. And those you should check out those episodes.
Yeah, no, I've seen them. I follow all of those guys.
Okay,
Quietly, I watch them
okay.
all. But
And then you got like Drywall Shorty, you've got Kayla, and then you get into like, it's kind of like that's what people are doing. They're explaining their process
right,
when they post on social media. And I'll quote the great Myron Ferguson, who says, "Let's face it, drywall's fascinating," and it kind
mhm.
of is.
Yeah, it is.
The challenge is you have assholes out there that are also going to see your stuff and they're going to be like, I just have one. I just have one that he came on my page and was like, there's no comparison because I posted like, is it Fresco Harmony or is it plaster? Like it looks the same. And this guy's like, there's no comparing. And I was like, well, yeah, I compare price and I compare speed. But like, that's what I'm talking about. It like instantly gets to your gut and you want to like just you
Yeah,
know, you want to attack them and you want to battle these idiot, like some dude in his bathrobe that doesn't even know how to do drywall
right,
comments on your shoes and it pisses you off.
right, right. I'm pretty callous to it, and it's part of the game. And my guy that's working with me, we talk, a lot, and he just says, "Listen, man," he's like, in the beginning phases, this is what you have to get through. You have to have the thick skin, and most people quit
Yeah.
because they can't
Yeah.
handle it. But if you have wisdom to give and you have something to teach, and you know that's the end goal. That's what you need to do. You need to give back. And
Yes.
to be quite honest with you, how this, not like you said earlier, how this all kind of started.
Yeah.
So I
The
started.
epiphany, the
Yeah,
epiphanal
I get.
moment. I mean, it's
I
more than just you're like I want to give back. You had to have had some sort of like lightning bolt moment where you were like, I'm going to start making training videos.
Yeah. So up here in Albany, we have I'm sure it's all over. It's the BOCES school, right? It's the trade school. So I got involved working with the local BOCES trade school, continuing trade education, right? So
Can you spell that?
it's BOCES, BOCES. It's continuing trade
BOCES.
education. Um, so I started going into the students. They do juniors and seniors, and it's a trade school opposed to high school, right? You go into a trade school. I started
Okay.
going in and doing demonstrations for the kids, right, on a volunteer basis, because I run into this kid on the job. He graduated from the BOCES school. He was in his early 20s.
I just had a video of you. I just had an image of you going into the school in a clown suit with your mud pan
Right.
and knife.
You know what? Not once this comes out, I might do that, and I just kind of like waddle in
Just do
there and
it. Just
just.
do it. Just have some fun. Have some fun music, like it's a kid's production. You got the clown. We're doing drywall today.
They might they may think I'm off my fucking rocker, but
Yeah.
which I am. But so one of the young kids, I'm working on a job, and he says, I graduated from BOCES, and it was great, but they taught us, they were more geared towards HVAC, electrical,
Okay.
masonry, heavy equipment. Nobody showed us how to do sheetrock and drywall and plastering. He goes, I wish I would have known. So I started doing the demonstrations for the students at the trade schools just to show them. And then to get them to a point where it's like, listen, man, we're not bottom feeders. Like you can monetize this and, you can make a good living at doing this. And, don't have anybody tell you that you can't do this. So with that being said, my thought process is, well, once I leave these kids, how do I stay in their memory banks? How do I keep them engaged in this? And as I started thinking, I was like, well, if I put together a YouTube tutorial for beginners, for the students, they would have something to go back and reference. And that's how this all kind of came to fruition, like to the
But
point where it's like,
how long ago were you working with the BOCES trade school?
this is probably going on already 2 years, 2.5 years,
So it's fairly recent
fairly
in
recent.
your timeline of Ken Landon, which spans 40 years of doing drywall. Just so if you're listening and you've seen some of Ken's videos, he's already established himself as a professional. But you're going in, you're like, I want to give back. How did you find out about this trade school? Did somebody come and ask you to come help out?
Well, no, not per se. They didn't say, "Hey, Ken, we need you to come in here," because it was kind of a mutual thing. I reached out, they responded, but it was actually the carpenter on the job who said to me, he's like, you should talk to the instructors at the trade school because they're always looking for people who come in and do demonstrations.
I've
And
always thought it would be fun to do that here. I've been asked a couple of times, especially to go just share my knowledge with aspiring tradespeople,
right,
or somebody looking to get into the trades or whatever. Just talk about my experience.
yes, but
Learning
that's
a trade
also,
it's a foundation.
yeah, it's the foundational aspect of getting into a job that can give you, security for your entire
Yeah.
life. So, when you take it a step further, I mean, I built my business, my drywall business back in the late 80s and 90s, from nothing. I opened up the brewery from nothing. I had 35, 40 employees there. I opened a second location. So, along with the trade, I also have a business sense. I think I do anyway, that you share it. I guess as you get older in life, you either just curl up under a rock or you want to give back some wisdom that you learned. So between the business and the trade, you know, I was able to at least hold a conversation and penetrate these kids. And, I could see the look in their eyes when you're talking to the students. They're just like, they're looking for direction. They're looking for somebody to
Yeah.
tell them it's okay to do this. Like it's really
Yeah.
important. And as we all know, across the country, probably across the world, tradesmen are needed more now than ever.
Yeah.
So if you yourself or me who have the years and we can go in and we could tell them, hey man, like we're in dire need of people like us out there. But if they have someone that can look them in the eye and say and tell them it's okay and tell them that they could, make money doing it, that's getting in person in front of these people, in front of the students. That's where
Sure.
the magic happens.
Would you
And
go into this like periodically? Would you go like every Monday? You would go
it's
into
all
this.
under the instructor's discretions. Right now,
Okay.
we're scheduling. We probably do one a co- you know I have been doing one a quarter with one school, but
Okay.
now it's branching off. This is up here. Obviously it's separated in counties, and I'm in one county, Schoharie County now. This spring, we're going to be doing Schoharie County, and we're going to doing Albany, the campuses in Albany and Schoharie. So it grows, but it's like anything else. It takes time, you
Yeah.
know. And then of course they invited me onto the advisory board, and I joined the advisory board for business, um,
Cool.
and then we talk about stuff like that. And lastly, I joined
Love it.
the advisory board for tradementor.org, which is an online platform. And basically, it's just mentors who give back their time within the trades.
That's fantastic. ORG. And they
Yeah,
have,
trade. It's trade.
are you the drywall liaison for tradementor.org?
I haven't actually been given that official title, but Doug Winston is the founder and creator of tradementor.org.
Okay.
Um, I reached out to him. He reached out to me. We had a conversation. And again, it's heavily leans more towards the mechanicals, right? The electrical contractors, the HVAC guys, the heavy equipment people. There's very little people in our industry, the drywall industry, the painting industry, that are going out there and giving back as much as the electricians and the
Yeah.
plumbers and the HVAC guys. That's just what I see out there. Now, maybe I'm misinformed, but I try and do my research and look around and see who's out there doing it. So I want to believe that when he spoke to me and he said, wow, we really don't have anybody that does plastering and sheetrocking and taping that has any
Hmm.
wisdom or has any business skills or anything like that, come on board. So,
Okay, so you're seeing kind of a niche. You're seeing a need for more mentorship in your sphere. It may not be on social media, but in real life, like
yes,
you're like, oh, I'm talking to these people. I'm talking to these young people. Drywall's not getting it's not getting enough
no,
attention in these certain arenas. So and
you
very
hit it
cool.
right on
And
the
you
head.
can use these videos that you're using as a tool to aid in your education process as well, which is kind of cool.
And that's
I
how
want
it
to
came, and
go.
that's how it started. That's how it came about. I
Uh,
wasn't.
I
Look, man.
like it.
If I could, look, who's going to say no if somebody wants to write me a check? That's wonderful. But I believe in the process more than the end game. I think the end game is a result of the process. And if we just stay to what I believe in, giving back, teaching, showing what works for me. I'm not saying
Yeah,
it works for everybody. Like
yeah,
everybody has to come to the conclusion of what works for them. Just because I put the compound
yeah,
on the wall this
yeah.
way, that doesn't make it and all be all. That's just the way I do it.
Hmm.
So, there's one guy wrote on there and he hit it right on the head. He said you could put 10 tapers in front of you and you'll have 10 different ways to get it done. 100% right. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah,
What I'm trying to do is show what works for me and has been working for me for 35 years, and I'm still out there in the trade every day, meeting
yeah,
people, doing estimates, working on the job. This is what works, man. This is what works for me. Maybe it doesn't work in Seattle, Washington. I had one guy, oh my God, you know, why are you using buckets? You're just polluting the world with just plastic waste. I'm like, dude, I'm in fucking the Northeast. We don't have boxes of fucking compound, okay? Like, I've never even seen a box of compound. We have buckets.
So let
That's
me
what we do.
pause you. If you're listening, I was surprised too. I remember doing a fresco job in Manhattan, in New York, and sure enough, they did not have boxes.
Right.
They had weird little 3.5 gallon
Yeah.
pails.
They got all
And they
different
did, and I
sizes.
was like, oh, all right, like whatever. I don't have to get the bucket. That's fine. But I thought that was kind of interesting. And then
Yeah.
as I interview people from region to region, most recently we interviewed Drywall Marvin out of the Netherlands, and tools are new there.
Really.
So yeah, like that. So I was like, I just thought tools were everywhere, and we don't browbeat over hand finishing either. Yeah,
Right.
hand finishers come in here. I do make fun of the shit box a lot on the Drywall podcast, but that's okay. They can use a shit box too. I never use the shit box, but it looks fast and people that use it swear by it. And one thing that occurred to me while we were talking one time was like, oh, well, if your bazooka breaks, I guess you could use a banjo, but it seems like the shit box is faster than a banjo also. Like, cause you're just reeling out tons of tape, 250 feet
Yeah, I
of
don't think with the
muddy
banjo
ass
that
tape.
you'll be able to load and lock and load as like as you would with the bazooka. But
Either one requires two finishers, whether you're doing banjo or whether you're doing the shit box. I mean, it doesn't require it, but you're going to be fast with those methods. Whereas a bazooka requires two also. But man,
mhm.
I can run out a tube full of mud
Mhm.
The problem with the bazooka is the learning curve. I mean, that's, people are just scared to learn.
Well, it's intimidating, and you have to have a
Yeah.
place for it. It's not for
Yeah.
renovations. People are you got to use the shit box, you got to use the bazooka. Listen, man, when I was running my crew, I had a guy Mike that came from the West Coast. We had no idea what the tools were. We had no bazookas. We had no. He came out with his set of tools in his trunk, and he
Nice.
pulled up on our job, and he showed us. And I was like,
Probably
holy shit.
you probably love that guy.
I fucking loved him. He was like 6'6". He did the 8 foot from the floor with the bazooka. He could do 9 foot.
Everybody's sitting around the job site just just snacking and drinking beer while Mike goes around and finishes the house
Fuck,
by
man.
himself.
He came in, he put a box of fucking tape up in like, I don't know, 6 hours. I'm like, dude, you could have put a box of tape up in like a whole week. That's how bad you suck, dude. And they're just like, who's this guy with what
Yeah, hey,
shit? Like,
Mike, slow down, buddy.
yeah, then they got pissed. Oh, he's taking work from us. And like, that opens up a whole nother can of worms, And I'm just
Oh
like,
my
Jesus
gosh.
Christ. But that was when it first came out, right? So I used the
Sure.
boxes back in the day. Back, you're talking 25, 30 years ago. I used all the boxes.
Yeah, but like I mean, talking about some of like with Robbie with Tape Tech and the Ames people, it goes all the way back to like the 40s,
Yeah,
like
we were talking about that the other day, me and
old,
you.
old, old. Yeah.
Listen, again, nobody's on the videos, and Drywall Shorty, man. I mean, she's Lydia's phenomenal. I watch her
Yeah.
videos all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, she tells it how it is. She's got to have thick skin more than anybody I have ever seen.
We were
I
talking about it. You read some of the, yeah, you want to think that Drywall Shorty's got it easy. Go read the comments
No,
underneath one of Drywall Shorty's posts, and you'll find out exactly what she has to deal with on a daily basis,
oh, it's
man.
brutal.
She just has to let it roll off, man. You know?
She lets it roll off, but she also is, when I'm watching her stuff, she's also keeping up on the new technology, the fiber fuse and the fucking
Yeah.
boxes, and she's doing all of that, which is a lot of work, man, because you have to keep up on the new technology, right? If you're
Sure.
representing, and that's her brand, that's what. Like, I have no desire to get out there and tape a fucking house with fiber fuse, man. You could have all of that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I make more money by going to fix somebody who put their foot through the wall than I ever did
Yeah.
doing a whole house.
Yeah.
Okay. So you could have that whole house horse shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's fine. I did houses that people 35,000 square foot houses we were doing. It
Do
was
you have
insane.
now when you go to do a patch, do you have a minimum price point that you
Yeah,
use?
400 bucks.
$400. Okay.
400 bucks.
Maybe mine's a little steep. I'm at 600. I'm
That's
at
fine.
100. I'm at 150 an hour.
That's fine.
I feel like you gotta like dig into your heart and you gotta be like, is it worth it? I'm gonna be back at that house twice, probably three times. Truth be known, probably three times. I'm gonna have to drive. Now I take from when I leave to when I get back to whatever I'm doing that's more important than that patch.
hmm
That's gonna be 3 hours. So
Now, when
you
you're
look
talking
at
about, when you say a patch, like you're just talking about a regular sheetrock patch?
well, a lot of mine are fresco, so I got to
Yeah. So
blend.
fresco's different.
But it's a little different. You still got
It's
to.
different.
I mean, mine would be equivalent to if you're finishing the paint.
Right.
So
Right.
sometimes drywall dudes they won't finish it to paint. Like they'll have a painter come in or the homeowner will paint it themselves.
Right. Right.
So with mine, it's like I have to blend the fresco, which is not a huge deal. I mean, the one I'm looking at right now is water damage. And, she squirmed. She's like, I don't think it's a $600 patch. And I was like, I think it is.
I think it is. Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I'm going to tell you right now, I think it is.
Yeah, 100%. But that's the other thing too is like over the course of time, I have to realize like I had a conversation with a customer along those lines, and I said, listen, man, I said I looked him right at him, and he says, but it's you're only going to be here for like a couple hours. Like, why are you charging me $400? I'm like, listen, man, it took me 35 years to learn how to do it in 2 hours. There's some value there. And he was like,
Yeah.
well, I don't know. And I said, and don't think for
Yeah.
2 seconds that just like you're interviewing me to do the job, I'm interviewing you too. Like, I got to
hmm
work with you. Like, just because, like, I'm way past that shit. Learning how to say
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
is hard. Learning how to say no
We
is hard.
had, I've had a couple recently where I was just prepared for them to say no. I just am like, if you don't, if you don't want me, if that's too much, then okay. Okay.
Right.
It's not worth my time.
Good.
It just isn't anymore. But I'm almost 50.
Yeah.
Like I've had too many jobs where I'm on the job and I'm just like, I'm not making any money. This
Right.
is ridiculous.
Right.
And
And you so you learn.
I gotta buy groceries.
Yeah. You learn though. You
It's gonna
learn.
cost me $150 for a half a cart full of groceries.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
100%.
this is the time we live in, and it's important for us to. So I had another one where a lady called. She was like, "Oh, well, you have your license. Like I in New Mexico, you have to have a drywall license. Well, it was like insurance damage or something, black mold or something. They had remediation. So the person wanted a licensed. So the
Right.
lady calls me and she's like, it's like 5 sheets, and
Uh-huh.
I'm like, I'm like immediately, and it's a rental property,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm like, I just don't want to do it.
Yeah. You already know. You already know. You
I'm
already
like,
know.
well, yeah, I'm gonna waste a half a day going
Mm-hmm.
over there looking at this remediation,
Mm-hmm.
formulating a bid so that they can hire somebody else to do it cheaper that does this all day long. And I'm just like, I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, I don't
No,
blame you.
no
It's good.
thanks.
It's good. How many jobs have you done where you said yes to and you should have said no?
Yeah, I mean, quite a few. I want to go back to the brewing. Why did you stop the brewing? I think we covered it on the last episode, but what
COVID.
happened?
COVID shut us down.
COVID killed the brewing.
It killed the hospitality industry.
Can't you start up brewing again though? Did you love it?
It was time to get out. The industry was very saturated.
It's saturated here.
I
Yeah.
did it, you know, when I opened in 2008, there was nobody in this area that was doing it. Now there's a
Yeah.
brewery on every block. So, it
Yep.
ran its time. And to be quite honest, it was devastating. I mean, I built it from scratch. I built both locations from scratch. It was devastating.
Wow.
It took me a long time emotionally, financially to recover of the business abruptly closing. And look, I'm not the only business that closed. And thank
No.
goodness, like people lost their lives. I'm okay.
True.
Like
Yeah.
I'm just one of millions of businesses that shut because of COVID. So I look at it as a
Fair
blessing in
enough.
disguise because it threw me into doing what I do. I'm a trades guy. I started doing it when I was 14, and now I have an
You still
opportunity to
do you
give
do it on
back.
the side? Do you still like have a little like drum in
No,
your
nope.
nothing? Not even a barrel every now and again.
If actually the only remnants that I have, if you look closely in some of the videos that I posted up on YouTube and all of that, I actually built a set. Okay.
Okay.
And it's about 5.5 feet with a ceiling and two walls so I can get a corner and a cap and cross butts and seams and a corner bead in there. It's just built for a set. So if you actually look at that set, if you look to the side, you can see some of the remnants from my brewery because I have the sign and I have like the Catskill tap room sign. And I'm like, fuck it, just leave it.
I've got another crazy idea besides the clown idea that you could critique every episode that you do. You could begin by critiquing a beer.
That's true. Or I could chug a beer. If I still drank, I would chug a
Well,
beer.
and you could talk. You don't have to chug the beer. You could. You could
You
just
could.
slam a whole fucking beer.
Right.
But like, you could be like, here's an interesting aspect about this beer. So then you're bringing like some education about beers to this, and there might be a lot of beer drinkers in the drywall industry.
There might be.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
There might be.
But that could be a nice hook. You don't have to spend forever on it. You chug a beer, or you take it. We're analyzing this beer today. This beer is made in blah blah blah.
Right.
It's an IPA. What the hell does that mean? Most
Right.
people don't know, or it's a dark, or I haven't drank for 20 years, so I don't know like the lingo anymore. But like,
Yeah.
what makes a beer dark? What makes a beer light?
Right.
This falls on this spec. There's so much about beer. It doesn't have to all be about beer, but maybe critique a beer before you do one of your
And invite all,
programs.
all of the drywall guys out there who may or may not drink beer. So that may get me a few more viewers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. No, and it would be fun, and you might get sponsorship from a beer company, maybe, if it's small enough, or that if, you could get free beer or something like that.
Excellent.
Um,
I'm trying to leave that chapter behind me now.
but I mean that part seems kind of sad to me because it's like, you're to have two breweries, you're probably into it, you
Yeah,
know.
I mean, I built it from nothing. I built
Yeah.
it, back in the day. But you know what? I had been doing drywall for 25 years at that point in time, and I needed a change. That was a
Yeah.
change. That was the direction it took me, and it was a good change, and it ran its course, and it did.
Okay.
And honestly, think about how life just goes on, right? Who would have
Yeah.
thunk that the stuff that I did, I started first job I was 9 years old when my uncle brought me on the
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
So it comes full circle. So now I'm back at the, later years doing the same thing. So, you know,
Well, and then also you have a guy that you work with. Who is this fella? Because I do notice that is it like a technical engineer for like your films? Are you doing all that editing?
no, no, God, no. I don't know,
Because
man,
it's
if we
pretty
should,
good. The
we may
lighting,
have
the
to
editing.
listen. I don't know if we should tell him a technical engineer, man. That's going to blow his head up. Like
Oh,
it's going
no,
to be like,
just the tech guy.
yeah,
You are working with a person to make the videos.
videographer. Yeah.
A
Anthony Saragola.
videographer.
Yeah.
Okay.
he's
Shout
from
out to Anthony.
Lincoln Street Media.
Okay, so it's
And
like he has a media company. You work with him to help you out make these videos.
yeah. So
Cool.
remember earlier when I told you that, you know, I was talking to a lot of my customers as I go on the job. So one of my good customers around the corner from me, I did a job for him. He had hired somebody that completely fucked the job up. So I went in and fixed it. So as I was fixing it, I was explaining to him what I was doing and why I was doing it. And he said,
Okay.
and he was one of the guys. He says, "Hey, you're knowledgeable. You have a way of explaining it for someone who doesn't never done it before. I understand
Yeah.
now."
I
So,
think you're really good in front of the camera too, Ken. Like you're catering to your strengths.
I mean,
You have a lot of charisma and good presence, they say.
well, John Daly has that too. So I've been compared to him.
Forget that guy.
But
Forget that schmuck.
going back to
John
my
Daly was
customer.
funny. He was funny in Happy Gilmore too, though. If you have not seen Happy
I saw it.
Gilmore,
I saw it.
okay, he's pretty
Yeah.
funny in that. Yeah.
But my customer says to me, he says, "You should be putting this on film, teaching people how to do this." And I said, "I've been thinking about it for a long time, and I just, this shit could be expensive. I'm not a social media guy. I don't do social media whatsoever." He says, "Well," he's like, "a good friend of mine, his son, that's what he does." And he
Okay.
hooked me up with Anthony.
Okay.
And Anthony's, he's in his 20s. He went to school for it.
Perfect.
We met, we spoke. Again, we had to interview each other. Can I work with, we're 30 years apart. Like, can I work with this entitled little brat from,
More so, that's the guy you want. I mean,
that's the guy
if
I
he's
want.
yeah, if
And
he's in his 20s, yeah, he's right in it.
so I
Uh,
looked at his website, Lincoln Street Media.
okay.
I saw the stuff that he does. I ran it by my son. My son's in his early 30s. I said, "What do you think about the quality of this?" My son's a little bit more in tune with that. He says, "This guy's really good."
Did he
And
make you a video to like? He's like, hey man, I'll make you a video. You can check it out. Tell me what you think.
no, we filmed. He came over. We
Yeah.
talked. We met like three times, two, three
Okay.
times.
Okay.
This is two. That's three for people who are watching, right? I don't
Yeah.
want. I don't want to give anybody. That's four. I don't want to give anybody wrong impression now.
Not
So
everybody watches, but some of them do. Think when I'm doing the podcast, I'm thinking that nobody watches, but they do.
they do. People watch
But
in
like,
silence.
it's so weird. It's weird to me because I don't watch podcasts. I was listening to a
I
podcast, but
listen to them. Yeah.
people do watch. Yeah,
But
whatever.
but listen, like you said, look, man. for the time that it would take me to figure out how to do it, to film it, to edit it, to upload it, to do this, I'm just like, who am I kidding? Like I just learned how to copy and paste last
Yeah.
week, right? So it's like,
Can we talk about like we don't have to talk about how much or anything like that, but is the pay, is it pretty adequate? Is it pretty reasonable? Like, okay, he's doing, I'll pump out like one video is X amount, I'll post it up. How does that work? Because you don't know how to do it.
I don't know how to
So
do it.
like, hey man, I'll pay you per episode. You got to do the episode. You got to post it on YouTube, onto Instagram, onto Facebook. What platforms are you on right now? Couple questions in there.
He put us we are stretched on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I didn't have any
Great.
of those accounts.
Great. So those are good ones. Mostly because I have those too. But did you ask him about coming onto the Drywall podcast?
I had told him actually this morning. I says I'm going to join Nick. Been on your
Great.
show before. He was like,
Yep.
"Oh, great." He goes,
Yeah.
ask him if we could use some of the content. I'll chop it up
Yes.
and use it."
Yep. I'll use it too. So we'll help you promote there, and then
Right.
we'll put the I can give him some of the stuff too, but maybe I can work with him on getting logos and things like that.
Yeah, no, he's great. He sent me over all the links. I could email them to you when we're done.
Cool.
But going back to like the pricing and stuff like that, everything's
Yes.
done from what I understand. Everything's done in packaging. Like how are we going to go across each platform? And it also in depth what the videographer is going to do for you. Like it's he can give you the white glove treatment and handle everything, or he can handle aspects of it, right? So there was so many different things to really look at and try and work
Yeah, there's a
what's
lot.
in your budget, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the window could be huge depending
Yeah.
on what you want.
It could be
Right.
$50,000. People hire
Right.
marketing agencies to do major shit, So it sounds like he's 20, Lincoln Street Media. Maybe does he have multiple clients? Are
He
you
does. He
okay?
does. He
Good,
does have
awesome.
clients. He's we felt that we were a good fit. I liked his he was mature, he's going to listen to this and now he's going to be like, well, I got to charge you more. I'm like, all right, take it easy. I got to tell him. But he,
Well, tell him careful with that because I'll charge his ass for the content.
that's right. That's right. We could leverage that hardcore. You hear that, Anthony? We can hear
Oh
that.
boy, oh
But
boy.
but you know what? Again, going back to making sure that you're a good fit, right? Making sure that you
Yeah.
can work together. What's your mission statement? What are you trying to get across? Like, are you trying to monetize this? Are you trying to like I was none of that. I was just about giving back, and I really just wanted to get it out there
Cool.
and show from scratch. And he was all about it. He was like, "Listen,
Okay.
man, we could do this. Let's start." And literally, I'm not kidding, Nick. He came over. We set up. This is my garage that we did it. I built the set. He came over.
Love it.
It was a little cold. We had some heaters going. And he said, "Put the cameras on." And we
Action.
didn't stop for 3 hours. Like I didn't stop. Like we went right through.
Okay.
And he goes, "That's never happened before. Like usually
Okay.
you got to stop. You got to need a break. You got to rethink. You got to do." He goes, "I just went straight through all of
Well,
it.
that's great for him because then he can take all that content and then
Chop
cut
it
it
up." Yeah.
cut it
Yeah.
down. So you've got right now on Instagram a gaggle of videos
Yes.
that I've seen. I have not seen your YouTube. Quickly, let's go through. Is it the same name on
Drywall with
each
Kenny.
platform? Yeah.
Drywall with Kenny. Yeah.
Drywall with Kenny. If somebody wants to look you up on YouTube
Yeah. And
or
I'll send you over the
Instagram,
links.
we'll have the links. But this is for our listeners, man. These guys aren't, they're driving in the truck.
Yeah.
They're, if they've made it this far, it's a kind of an interesting episode. But like what the content is interesting to me because people in the space do it, but not everybody does content. in drywall. So if you're listening, this might be a route that you want to go where, like Ken, you hire somebody to do this work for you. I don't know if it could be, Anthony with Lincoln Street Media. It might be somebody else. I'm sure Anthony would entertain somebody if they wanted some content. But if you go over to Drywall with Kenny,
Drywall with Kenny. When it first came out, I said Kenny does drywall, and I'm like, oh,
that doesn't work.
Good.
That doesn't work.
And I was like, oh, and he said that's not the name of it. It's Drywall with Kenny, and I says,
You just call it Outcomes Kenny.
Outcomes Kenny.
That would be the clown version. The clown version would be Outcomes Kenny. You honk. You get like a honking horn and some confetti and some big clown shoes.
Oh my God.
Oh boy, Outcomes Kenny. Hey everybody, we're gonna be doing taping today.
That's it. I'd put the stilts on and come out as a giant clown.
Put the stilts on with the pants. And then you're doing a beer. You're gonna review a beer as Clown Kenny before you even get it going. Yeah, the ideas are endless.
The beer thing. No, I know we could get going on the beer thing.
The beer thing would be kind of cool. I mean, and it wouldn't take very long. You review a beer. You're an expert.
I'm not an expert. I'm long done with that. I don't even drink anymore. So that's it.
You just wanted to choose like your timeline of how you present the information. It seems like you're starting at the beginning. Okay, let's talk about mixing mud. We're going to mix up the mud. Now we're going to put on the tape. Now we're going to do the base coat. Now we're going to do the second coat. So that's how you intrinsically decided to lay out the content.
So it really was broken down into first coat, second coat, third coat. And please let me say, from my experience and how I was taught, the first coat is consisting of putting the tape on.
Yeah.
That's the first coat, then the second coat, and the third coat.
You're right about that. I don't know what else would be the first coat. Pre-fill? Is that the first coat? Or are they saying the bed coat is the first coat?
Maybe. I don't know. I wasn't taught that way. And again,
that's true.
Whatever works for you, what's right, what's wrong, there's no right, wrong. At the end of the day, we're still trying to, achieve the same flat and smooth finish.
I think it's right in the USG handbook.
Well, somebody actually said that too. You could just look it up in the USG handbook. I'm like, great. Here we go. But my thought process was, okay, the first video that we're going to do
who wrote the USG handbook though? Who gave that guy the permission to just tell everyone how to do drywall?
Listen, I had an argument with an instructor back when I was going to school for it, right? Estimating. So I said, we hung MR board. They called it green board back then. It wasn't MR board. There was no mold board. It was green board. We hung it on it's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to hang it on the ceiling because the ingredients and chemicals that we put in there to make it, moisture resistant actually weakens the core of the board. Look at the USG handbook. You're not supposed to hang it on the ceilings. And I was
maybe I knew that. We had to take the test.
I was like, whoa.
So in New Mexico, it's like the GS7 is the drywall contractor's license. I failed the first time. Not a shame. No shame. Like, I had to learn this shit about fasteners and like all the drywall, and it was all I could do to get through the damn test. I'm a drywaller. Obviously, I'm not a good test taker. But I did not know that. That's kind of interesting. It probably was on my test, but I know there's certain boards that you use, and also screw. Screw width when you're doing ceilings, and 5/8 versus half inch and all of that.
Yeah, all of that shit. I mean, if you really want to get technical about it and you want to sit down and get technical about it, nobody fucking does it the right way anyway. And let's be honest with you. I did 250 house developments for years and years and years. You know what we were trying to do? How do we get it done faster?
You're trying to get the money out of the contractor.
If we just had to rough the screws, just rough the screws. If you just like, how do we get done? Come on, everybody. Let's stop being like all of a sudden you're an expert. Where's your fucking video?
Yeah.
But So the premise is to start from scratch with the first coat and give a tutorial on the person getting in his car and going to the store and buying a bucket and getting the bucket and how do I
Yeah.
open it and how do I mix it, blah 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 blah. And we figured that would be the longest video, and it was 3 hours. He edited it down to 2:15, right? And then moving forward, we wanted to actually see
Holy shit, the video is 2 hours and 15 minutes.
2 hours and 15 total for all of the steps, right?
Okay.
And that's why we broke it into different shorts and thumbnails. Again, the premise was for the students to take what I show them and go back into the video and hit a thumbnail and say, oh, okay, I remember this. Maybe I need help with the crossbutt or the screws or the seams or the beads or whatever the case may be. And they could thumbnail it. So for educational purposes and references, right? And then moving forward, I wanted to see what the response was, how it went over the videos, if they were good, they were bad, do we have a need to move on? And then the next, we just talked about it this morning. Are we going to do the second coat and do a whole video series? And obviously it won't be as long as the 2 hour video. It'll be a lot quicker because we don't have to go. By now, we hope that you understand how to mix the bucket. We know that tape is done, so it's a lot quicker, as you know. And then the polish coat, and then if it continually grows legs, then we'll start with the patch repair, with the plaster repair, with the with all of those things, and get
there's
into
a lot.
things.
Well, you watch Drywall Shorty's videos. I mean, she'll do a whole video on just the different mixers.
It's great what she does, and people should just shut their fucking mouths and just listen, man, and learn instead of sitting, like you said, in their goddamn bathrobe, commenting on people. Like if you're not they always, if you're a creator, you don't criticize, right? And most of the people learn in silence, right? They want to. It's the ones that get intimidated. I actually feel sorry for them. I'm just like, wow, this guy's got nothing better to do than sit there and watch my video and make a comment about my shoes.
Yeah.
Like, so you have to take it from where it's coming from as well. But that doesn't make it any easier. You still have thick skin, and but when the personal attacks come out, that's where you got to draw the line. Just like, wow, all right, we'll just delete this guy. Don't forget, at the end of the day, we got the power to delete. We could just remove you,
Yeah.
So
It's fascinating to me how people will defend tooth and nail, like the way that they do it, to the nth degree. And people are like, well, why don't you do plaster? It's like, well, I don't want to.
Right.
I mean, I'm biased, but
there's different ways to defend it and have a common sense educational conversation about it and see both ways in this way. But to just negatively comment on things without even understanding like where it's coming from.
We just had Jeremy Mistretta, New Age Artisans. He makes a Tadlac product, like a plaster product. He's a super pro out of Montana. He had me on his podcast, and we had the same conversation about just the openness. Right. I sold product to a person in Telluride that needed Tadlac. I was like, well, call Jeremy. Like he does Tadlac, man. You could, it's got 5 bathrooms. Maybe he's doing in this product, and you've got somebody to show you how to do it. Right. So, yeah, I think the coercion or people working together is always going to trump this like negative, like coming down on somebody or talking about how they're doing it wrong, and it's waning. It's going away. That meanness. You're jumping into the fire though. You're coming in out of nowhere with these videos on Instagram.
Right.
And people, you're just like a little duckling. Like people are just crushing.
Oh yeah, that's fine. They could have at it. Listen, man, there's nothing anybody could do to me that I haven't already done to myself.
Yeah.
So, it's like putting yourself out there. You got to be willing to get tied at the stake, but to some degree. But getting with the personal and stuff like that, and just like you said, I made it a point. Like I had somebody the other day. This morning he posted. He's like, "Hey, no offense, good kind sir," which was respectful, but this appears that like it's for beginners. I was like,
"You got it, buddy.
Do you fucking shave one side of your face?"
You hit the nail on the head. You hit the nail. You're absolutely right. This is for beginners.
I'm just like, yeah, this is
Yeah.
for beginners. If you would have actually taken the 30 seconds to just watch that said, hey, this is designed for people who have never taped before to help them in their home, not some fucking mansion up on the hill that's, million, $2 million. This is not for them. This is
Yeah.
not for you. You're obviously a professional.
Yep.
And this is what works for me.
Yeah.
For 40 years, this is what works for me. Everything,
I
and I
I
and I
like it.
literally, Nick, I put it out there. I says, I'm not here to say any of the other videos are better, worse, different.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here to say what works for me, and maybe it can work for you if I put it into simplistic terms that you can understand. That's
Hmm.
it.
Well, I'm already going to have my friend Monica go and watch because she was, and I kind of pointed her towards like some of Drywall Shorty's stuff, but also a lot of these videos, these how-to videos about drywall are all over the place.
They're
You
all
go
over.
look at like somebody on, where now these influencers are trying to reel it in and have
Yes.
more structure. Here's the
Mhm.
base coat. Here's
Yeah.
mixing mud. Here's, do it in order.
That's what we're
Um,
trying to do.
yeah.
Consistency.
Yeah, just to
No
have like
pun intended.
just have a nice repetitive. It's a repetitive.
You have to be repetitive. You have to
Hello
be
and welcome to a repetitive episode of the Drywall Podcast.
repetitive and flat and smooth and flat and smooth. Now Anthony did all of that. I'll have to tell him, like Nick said, it was 30 seconds too much repetitive, and he's gonna be like, "So we should do it again."
I'll time it. I'll time it. At a certain point, I was like, cut it
Right?
off right there, right
I
there.
know,
Put a
I
pin in
know.
it.
Right, and that's when I get some.
But
This
you could
guy's
also,
still,
you have a critical mind too. You could tell him.
yeah. I mean, listen, man. I would, but from where I'm from in Queens, it's come on, man. You got to come up with better than that. But
Um, Pearl of wisdom. It's been almost 2 years since you've been on the show. Do you have a pearl of wisdom besides don't be a jerk on social media? What do you got? Something you could put on a billboard for your fellow drywall people.
um. For my fellow drywall people, it depends on what you're looking for. I have a lot of different types of wisdom things, that I
Yeah,
tell myself on a daily basis.
just
The
one
worst,
pearl. One pearl's fine.
everybody wants to be successful, right? Everybody's trying to achieve success. And I think that one thing that really sticks in my head often is success is something you achieve by the person you become.
Oh,
And,
I like that.
if you feel that becoming an asshole is successful, good for you.
You're on the
So,
wrong path.
yeah, I mean,
You might want to pick a different. You might want to pick a different definition of success.
exactly. But, I mean, there's a lot of things that get people through the day. We're all fighting different battles. And I think that
Yeah,
you have to look, man, I'm not built to tear down and built to build up. I'm not,
I
I'm,
love it.
I'm here to give back. And, if I can give back and honestly, if I would get one response, and we've gotten, don't get me wrong, the good comments always go quietly into the good night, right? Because
Yeah, yeah.
the negative ones speak louder. They're always louder because they hit harder, and that's what they're intended to do. But
It's the same. It's the same with media. Like
it's the
it's the
same with
same.
media. It's the same
The
shit.
anger and chaos makes a lot of noise. It's loud.
Yeah,
Peace and like all the peaceful shit and the puppies and stuff like all that. They don't want to put that into the media because it's no fun. They want
it's
to
no
see
fun.
chaos. They want to see disorder and
Of course.
fights.
Of course.
Yeah,
And we've gotten some really, 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 really well written, well respected, just really, really nice comments about, things that
excellent.
are good,
Good.
which is good. And at the end of the day, if I get a video or a comment from someone that says, "Hey, I really appreciate that you took the time to do what you did. It helped me in my first house and or my first home improvement project, or I never did it before and you helped me." That's a win, right?
Love it. Can you say your the pearl? It was a little phrase there that you said. It was really good.
I said success is something you achieve by the person you become.
I love that. I really do. That's fantastic. Ken Landon, KL Drywall, Drywall with Kenny. You can find him on most recently Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. He's making videos. The videography is fantastic. Lincoln, shout out to Lincoln Street Media. And I'll put all that stuff into the show notes. Thank you so much for coming on the Drywall podcast today, buddy.
Oh, it's always a pleasure, man. I'll hit you up
Great.
offline. I want to
Yeah.
dive into a little bit more of the fresco. I
Yeah.
think that I think that now that I'm back into it, full bore. I think that, if I really get a good grasp of it, I think that, there's some places here where we could utilize it, especially with the plaster
Sure.
repairs.
Well, I can send you some, man. You could do like a video. You could do like a little video about like, I'm doing some plaster over this level 3 drywall, or
Do you
some
do you
fresco
still
harmony.
um do you still have the how-to videos on your website for
Yeah, yeah.
how to
YouTube. There's a ton of videos on YouTube. So I use, and you might learn this as you go on. I use different platforms for different things.
different things? Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
So
Now let me ask
YouTube,
you. I want to
YouTube's
ask you this
mostly like
question.
long form video.
For those who are like really taking this podcast like really 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 serious. So if
Yeah,
I were to dive into the fresco harmony, if I had to use compound from a bucket opposed to
yeah.
a box, is that okay
For me,
for us here up in the Northeast?
yeah, it's fine. I always say it doesn't matter what mud you use, just use the same mud because that is gonna depict your color consistency. So whatever you used in
Mhm.
your bathroom 2 years ago or whatever, you could reskim that wall and repatch it if you use the same exact mud. I think you painted over it though. You didn't like it.
No, it's still that same color. We left
It's
it.
so
We
essential.
left it.
Okay, you could
I'm gonna
skim
do
it.
it. But
Yeah.
and the reason why I'm asking that is because from what I understand is that somebody mentioned to me on the YouTube that I don't know how you could use mud from a bucket because it's usually old. And I'm like, oh, okay. So is there I'm like, it's not as old as me, but it's old. Okay. So is there like lot numbers? What happens if I'm doing a
They
whole
just
room?
didn't know. They just didn't know that they thought you were choosing a bucket over a box. They didn't know that like on the East Coast, they just sell buckets. Like that's not it's just ignorance,
And
And I didn't know either until I went to New York and I was like, "Oh, there's no boxes here."
how
You
long
know,
ago was that?
12 years.
Yeah. So, all right. So you're 12 years in the know. If somebody who's out there, like, is somebody like sitting out there in the middle of nowhere, just being
Uh,
like, why doesn't this guy get a box? And the compound in buckets is old. I'm just like, I don't know. Like,
I
all
do
right.
it too, though, Ken. Like I can be my own worst critic. I can instantly be mean to somebody on social too. I mean, I can do that. I wouldn't be able to do a podcast if I was just mean all the time.
You
Like,
know what I mean? Hmm.
I struggle with all the same things that everybody struggles with on a day-to-day basis,
So
especially being a product manufacturer.
here's another quick question for you. Being that you're the box mud guy,
Yeah.
and all you people out there in the West
Yeah.
Coast are all box mud.
See, you
What do you
don't
mix
know
it in?
about the boxes.
What do you mix it in?
Well, I'm going to tell you right off the top, you're getting that box of mud cheaper because you ain't paying for the
Oh,
bucket.
100%. But what are
So
you
that's
mixing it
awesome.
in?
I just mix it with my hands. No, you mix it in a bucket, man. There's a way. The first thing I remember, if I train
Where do you get the
somebody,
buckets?
the
I
buckets that
like
I
that.
like.
See, if I want that gesture, I just mix it with my hands. That's great. Just mix it.
Well, it's a good,
Did
it's
you
a good
hear Nick
question.
on that drywall podcast? He's mixing compound with his.
They know they should if they listen to the podcast, they know I'm jokey. But
I
like
know. I know. I would
No, you
hope.
know what? I am a bucket prima donna. Like I don't like use somebody's old buckets or I get the cheap ass white buckets. They have premium badass industrial buckets at a paint shop here. They stopped selling them too. I'm pissed off because I'm still using those buckets. If and I let mud sit in the bucket. So because you do the color and all of that stuff,
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
keep the bucket of color like in my archive in case I need to make a sample or do
Makes
something with
sense.
it.
Makes sense.
So that bucket lives, and I'll clean those damn things out. So
Sure.
every time I'm cleaning a bucket, I'm like, this is $10, $12 every time I clean out a bucket and reuse it. So I use really good industrial gray buckets.
How much do the buckets cost?
That cost like $10 for a bucket and a lid,
And how much is a box of compound?
probably 12. Box of
So it
compound at its cheapest, you can get it down to 12 here, but this is a little cheaper here than other places.
okay. So the box and the bucket that you guys purchase is the same price that we pay for one bucket of mud.
Yeah, but you can't do that factoring because you would have to factor that bucket into being reused 50 times.
Your bucket.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
so
get it.
I do reuse them. I actually
You do
do
reuse
reuse
them.
them, and I donate them to people who will reuse them. I just don't go
Yeah,
out
because
there.
you got the people in Seattle that are concerned that you are ruining the planet
That's
with your
true.
damn buckets.
I did get I did get an
Those
email.
guys.
I think
Jeez, enough with the buckets.
I got a comment on that too. It's like, how dare you pollute the earth with those plastic buckets? I'm
Yeah,
just like,
you bastard.
whoa. I'm like, you son of a bitch. I'm like, listen, man, I cut the plastic things that go around the soda cans. I cut
There
them.
you go.
I'm
Yeah.
caring for the
Save,
turtles.
yeah, save the turtles. Yeah.
You got to save the turtles. But I like when you said you mix it by hand with the gesture. I thought a monkey right away. I was like, oh boy, here we go.
I love the what is it? It's Happy Feet where what the dude, one of the penguins has like one of those around his neck. Ken Landon,
Uh,
thank you so much for being on the Drywall podcast today. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Drywall with Kenny. Check out his stuff or give him a follow. He's a great guy. And go back and listen to the history of KL Drywall and some of that brewery stuff on episode 49 a long time ago, over 2 years ago. It's good, but I hope you have a fantastic day, sir.
I appreciate your time and keep doing what you're doing. I really enjoyed the conversation, and
Yeah.
I'll email you over the link so you could put it in the show notes.
Yeah,
And
we'll be in touch.
yeah, and if you need anything, always, man, feel free to reach out.
All right, buddy. Peace. Have a good day.
You too, Nick. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Shout out to Kenny for being with us on the Drywall podcast today. Fantastic episode. If you get a chance, go over to his Instagram page and check out his videos. They're actually really good, super informative, and also if you know somebody that's new in the trade, really great source of information for them. Also, I'd like to give a huge shout out to Can-Am Tools for sponsoring the Drywall podcast in the month of February. It's because of sponsors like Can-Am that I get to bring you awesome podcasts like the episode you just listened to with Kenny. And a quick message to the folks actually slinging that mud every day. Can-Am knows tradespeople want tools that feel good in the hand. Everything they make is clean, simple, tough, and built to just work the way you expect it to. Grab a complete corner tool set or just a couple of tools and see for yourself why pros pick up and go. Yeah, that just makes sense. Find Can-Am tools at just about every location you get your drywall tools from. And if you want to know more, visit www.canamtool.com. Also, check out the Drywall Podcast on Instagram for details about this monster giveaway that's happening. All you have to do is email me, info@frescoharmony.com, your full name, your phone number, and your physical address where you'd like this cool stuff shipped, and you will be entered to win. Curious about being on the podcast, or maybe you want to sponsor the month of the podcast? You can use that same email, info@frescoharmony.com, and just let me know. Reach out. I'm here. I'd love to hear from you. You have a lot of choices when you go to listen to something on the radio, and today you chose the Drywall podcast, and I'm grateful to you for that. It's because of listeners like you and sponsors like Can-Am that I get to bring you amazing shows each and every week. Tune in next week as we have those crazy kids from Paonia, Monica Schaefer and Judd, back with us on the show to talk a little bit about learning drywall, some of the principles of drywall, fresco harmony, different plaster techniques. It's pretty good. They're funny. I'm funny. You should tune in and watch it or listen because it's pretty good. And remember, keep drywalling.